Good evening. Welcome to call 4 of 5 of the Cash for Christmas Warriors of Wealth program of 2015. 4 of 5. That means we are nearing the end. And I hope that you have found that the information contained in this program was useful to you as you made your way through the final weeks of 2015. And as always, I'll be giving you special code words throughout the call, so listen carefully, stick around. Code words let us know that you were here, and they go towards your spoils of war. And you know you want the spoils. You know that I want to shove a fun item from the new line in your swag bag. So here's your first code word, Warriors. It's call, C-A-L-L. First code word is call. So I'm going to say, this past week it was thrilling to watch those weekend numbers roll in, to see all those $1,000 party videos, and to hear and see the joy on the faces of those goddesses and Adoni who are experiencing such great abundance. I especially want to give a shout out to Brett Palmer Halverson. So here's an Adonis who moved from Rhode Island to New Hampshire, had to start his business all over again. Not an easy task, and I've seen it derail other people. We all saw his posts throughout this past summer where he mentioned his parties were canceling, how he was struggling to get bookings in his new state. I could feel his frustration, but he always ended every post with a, I'll get there, I'm not giving up, I got this. And by not giving up, which I'm sure would have been easy to do, way easier than powering through, he chose to power through those difficult and disappointing days, and he didn't quit. And now he experienced his first $1,000 party and almost $2,000 weekend last weekend. So his Christmas will be paid in cash. But more than that, he proved to himself and to all of us that a curve in the road is not the end of the road, that success is just over that hill. So congratulations, Brett. I am beyond proud of you. And he's not the only one that stuck it out and is now reaping the rewards. Our girl Sunshine, Yolanda Sunshine Miller, had a slow summer. And she would talk about it on the WOW page. No shame there. She never complained or blamed. She just kept moving forward. And even if it was just a little baby step, it was still a step. And Yolanda inspires me because she didn't quit. Instead, she chose to persevere. She dumped that summer slump like it was nothing but a morning epic shit, and I'm so joyful to announce that Yolanda hit 2K paves away in October. That's right, Yolanda, you're the sunshine of my life. And how about Stacy LaCroix? She had a party last week, $125. Bummer, right? Well, she certainly didn't let it change her attitude because she had a $400 party on Friday, and then a $1,400 party on Saturday. You know, there's ups and downs in everything in life. So thank you, Stacy, for hanging around to create more ups and downs. And Jen Madsen, I loved your story about how you walked in the doctor's office on the phone while you were talking to a hostess booking a party, and then the receptionist at the doctor's office asked you for information. Boom! Jen, that's incredible. You're incredible. Belinda Brides had herself a little $1,100 party over the weekend. Go Belinda. And my girl, Jen Tessier-Williford, veteran goddess again, didn't have the greatest summer, had an $800 party on Monday night. Go Jen. That's what you get for not giving up. My final shout-out goes to Moneybags, Nicole Martel. Moneybags had a $1,927 party this past weekend. That's one hell of a night and one fat and happy bank account. Congratulations, Moneybags. We don't call you Moneybags for nothing. And, you know, I mean, really, there's so much success swirling around us. You know, you want to get some of that on you. Well, this call is all about follow-up. And here are two warrior stories about warriors who followed up and doubled their party sales. So my girl, Lauren Goyette, she did a $500 party over the weekend. But she got outside orders and brought that party up over $1,100. Wow. Wow, indeed. Amanda Duhame from New Hampshire, same scenario. In the same weekend, she left her party, followed up with everyone from the Facebook event who didn't make it, and it brought her sales to $1,100. I want you to be extraordinarily successful with more parties and more money than you know what to do with. So let's dive in. One more thing. Your second code word is with, W-I-T-H. Second code word, everyone, is with, W-I-T-H. And now I'm going to hand the call over to the one and only Caterina Rando. Caterina, take them away.
My friends, Caterina Rando back with you again for another wow call. Tonight's hot topic is post-party selling and booking to enjoy your best quarter ever. I hope that you have listened to the other calls that we did together for wow. They were chock-a-block full of information, and I want to make sure that you do not miss out on not even one super tip that I have for you. So with that in mind, if you missed any of the calls, after this call, go back, listen, and if you didn't listen, listen, and if you did listen, listen again. And hopefully you're reviewing your handouts every day, because it is not enough just to know something. We have to know it, then we have to do it, then we have to get good at it, then we get really good at it, and then we move towards mastery. And to be a super success with Athenas, you want to master booking and selling and recruiting and, of course, leadership. So tonight I'm going to share with you many ideas that you may know, but you may or may not be doing them consistently. And note that consistency over time is what creates results, what gets more sales, what gets more bookings. So everybody, take a deep breath with me right now and get ready for more super success tips for your Athena's business. First thing, make sure you have the handout open, because we will go along with the handout with these sessions. First thing I want to talk to you about are some different strategies that I want to make sure that you're embracing in your Athena's business related to post-party selling and booking. Then I have put together for you a post-party success checklist that you can, of course, modify for yourself and how you like to do things, but this will give you a lot of super tips that when you follow your success checklist consistently, it's going to make a big difference for you in your business. So first thing with your selling, post-party selling, is to pre-plan your post-party time. So here's what I found in my own business, in being when I was a direct seller, in working with direct selling leaders, that we have a lot of attention on the booking, on the party, on, of course, our hostess coaching, on making sure she's getting a good number of people there, getting everything ready for walking out the door. We go, we do a great party. Of course, we've got to make sure everything is with ease with all our orders after the party. But then sometimes, life gets busy and you've got something happening with your family the next day, or you've got your job you have to go to, or other things that get in the way right away of your post-party time. Because it is right after your party that you want to put attention on all those things that result in more selling and more booking. Like, of course, calling anybody that had a question about something that you couldn't answer, and you want to call them right back and answer that question and hopefully get the sale, right? So my request to you, here's my specific request that I want to make sure that you're doing as standard operating procedure. In business, of course, you want to know your SOPs, your standard operating procedures. And, SOP is not very sexy, but it gets sexy when you start to use them and your checks get bigger and you start to get a lot more done with ease because you have SOPs. So one of your SOPs for bookings is that you schedule time the day after your party for your post-party success checklist. And depending, of course, on the size of your party, that can take 1 hour. It could take up to 3 hours if you had a super big party. So make sure that you're scheduling, and when you book the party, schedule the post-party time as well. Very, very important. Okay, next thing is to remember, my friend, that the fortune is in your follow-up. And again, if you don't have time for that follow-up, then you're not going to get more sales, you're not going to get more bookings. Some people, no matter how enthusiastic they are, no matter how into your party they are, they're just not going to book at the event. They got to talk with their husband, they got to check their calendar, they got to see if their mom could watch the kids. So there are always going to be people that will not give you an Insta booking at your party. Now, you say, okay, I'll follow up with you later. Well, you think you're going to follow up tomorrow, and maybe you even, if you're really on the ball, you make a phone date with them for tomorrow or the next day. But if you don't have the time set aside, you might miss your follow-up window. So make sure you recognize the fortune is in the follow-up, and anything that you need to follow up on at your party, make sure that you not only have time scheduled for it, but you actually make phone dates with people at your parties. So you say something like, Sheila, thanks so much for your interest in booking a party. And of course, I understand that you have to check with your husband or check and see if your mom can watch the kids. What I'd like to do, because you're busy, I'm busy, can we go ahead and make a quick phone date for any time that works for you tomorrow or the next day, and actually put something on the calendar. That way you will, and also what that does, super tip alert, is that counts as her having a deadline for when she needs to have an answer. So that's why having phone appointments works really well, because it facilitates people being in urgency about figuring out whether or not they can have the booking. Now, we're talking right now about booking follow-up, but the same thing is for sales. Like, note who was thinking about a certain product, they didn't get it, you have it on their list that they, on their receipt or wherever you're keeping track, that they wanted it. You may want to follow up with them the next day, you may want to wait another day. You decide, but guess what? If you don't make the follow-up, you don't get the fortune. Make sure you recognize that. And I want to also say here, sometimes people get discouraged. Hey, I called that person, they didn't call me back. My friend, don't take it personal. I never take it personal when people don't call me back. In fact, I really, even though I like to expect success, I'm really super happy when people call me back, because most of the time I don't get a call back. It takes a call, it takes a Facebook message, it takes an email, it takes another call. Sometimes one of those works. Sometimes it takes 3 sets of 3 of those. It depends on the person, it depends on how busy they are. It depends also on how much of a priority we are for them in their lives. Because if they've got so much else going on, or they're out of town, or peeps get sick, well, guess what? We're not going to get a return call. Give you one example. I met a lady a couple weeks ago at a party. She said, Caterina, I really want to talk to you. I made her an irresistible offer to come to an event. She said, oh, that doesn't work for me. I want to see what else you could do for me. Blah, blah, blah. It took me 5 reach outs before we connected. And guess what she said when she reached back? Caterina, I'm so sorry I haven't gotten back to you. I had to go to the hospital. My son got sick. Blah, blah, blah. So it's not like I'm more important than all those things going on, right? People have lives. Never take it personal when they don't get back to you. It's your job to keep following up. It's your job to keep following up. And guess what? You keep following up until you hear a no. Okay? Until you hear a no, until you hear I'm not interested, until you hear, you know what, I don't think I'll ever be interested. That's when you stop following up. Lack of reaching back, lack of hearing from them is never a reason to not keep going with your follow-up. Next one, my friend. Consistency over time creates results. I want you to know consistency over time creates results, which is why this strategy that we're discussing right now, party, post-party time, follow-up, more follow-up, follow-up, more follow-up. Consistency over time creates results. But here's the other thing I want you to get that you may not think about when we think about working our business consistently, when we think about calling consistently, when we think about doing parties consistently. The thing to recognize is that all of these repeat activities, they move us closer to mastery. You can have a conversation with someone about joining the business after the 10th one or the 20th one or the 100th one with so much more ease, with so much more positivity, certainty, enthusiasm, that as a result, you are going to be more in your power, you are going to be more speaking with confidence, and guess what? That is all very alluring. That is contagious. When they see you talking about the business with confidence and glee and certainty and bliss, of course they're going to be highly interested. But when you have not had that many recruiting conversations, you can follow whatever script you've had, you can make sure you cover all the bases, but you're not going to have the same level of bliss and ease and confidence that you're going to have after you've done it 100 times, which is why it is so essential to recognize the power of consistency and keep your time that you have set aside to work your business, keep that commitment, because it is moving you closer to mastery. Every time you do a booking, you're getting better at doing party. Every time you get a booking, you're doing better at getting bookings. Every time you do a party, you're getting better at doing parties. Every time you have a recruiting conversation, you're getting better at recruiting conversations. Every time you work with the ladies and Adoni on your team, guess what? You're getting better at that too. So be sure that you are being consistent in your business and recognizing that power. Okay, it's almost time for the super exciting post-party success checklist. Now, you might have a post-party success checklist, but you may not be using it. If you're not using it, then it's not doing you any good. If you are using it, awesome. Because not only do I want you to use it, but here's the super tip that I want you to know. What is written down can be improved. If it's not written down, you can't evaluate it and then say, okay, well, what else do I want to do? Or I want to change this, I want to upgrade it. Big mistake that people in business make is they keep stuff in their head. Nothing should be kept in your head. I have checklists for all kinds of things. Checklists for, a packing list, of course, to walk out the door for a party. A checklist of everything that wants to happen or should happen, needs to happen as soon as a booking takes place. A checklist for what you do when you get to the party, to the house of the hostess. And then, of course, a post-party checklist after. I'm sure you have a checklist for onboarding a new recruit on your team, right? A list of what you do when you get a new recruit. All of these things are essential. And the more you look at them and use them and continue to upgrade them, the more mastery you will experience in your business. Now, as we talk about this, Some of these things I know you're doing already, which is great, gold star for you. But the other thing I'm looking at here is, are you doing them consistently? Because again, consistency over time creates results. And by the way, you get more efficient and you get faster and you increase your productivity when you have consistency. So the first thing, of course, is that you're going to send a handwritten note to your hostess, thanking her for the party. Now, I want you to know that there are different languages of appreciation. The 5 languages of appreciation are gifts, which you probably gave her some gifts already for being a hostess, words of appreciation, which a thank you card is, acts of service when you do something nice for somebody, quality time, spending time with people, and physical touch. A hug, a kiss, all of that. Those are the 5 languages of love for your significant relationship, and they're the 5 languages of appreciation for your hostesses. So with that in mind, you don't know what the love language or appreciation language is of your hostess in most cases, which is why you have to speak all 5 of the languages. Got it? That's why we not only make send the note, but additionally, we also make the call, because talking to somebody on the phone is quality time, which is a different language. So we say, we sent her a note, she's going to get that in a few days. We pick up the phone and we call her again. Sheila, thank you so much for being such an awesome hostess last night. I so appreciate you opening your home. It was great to meet all of your friends. They are so fun. Say a little bit about what happened. And then, of course, if she hasn't already rebooked, you're going to ask her if she wants to rebook at this time. And in fact, if you're leaving a message, you might even give her a few dates or say, hey, let's talk about the possibility. In fact, you don't even have to say, do you want to rebook? You can say, hey, let's talk about the possibility of rebooking and how we could do it even better next time. Okay? And I want you to have this attitude in your business. This is a guiding principle to always be upgrading. When you have the guiding principle, which I have, of always upgrading, you never focus on what didn't work. It's all about where can we upgrade. And it's a perspective shift that will make a big difference for you. Now, this is a super tip I just shared with you. For some of you, this is the golden ticket, because you're attached to perfection. You want everything to be perfect. If something's not perfect, you get stressed out. You feel a tremendous amount of pressure to have everything be perfect. And what I'm telling you is forget about all that and focus on having a good time, doing a great job, noticing what worked, noticing what didn't work. We'll talk about this a little bit more later. And then you just keep upgrading. It's an awesome way to run your business, to have the perspective of always upgrading rather than looking at what didn't work or what worked, didn't work, and having more of a downer attitude, okay? Remember that positivity, certainty, and enthusiasm are what attract people to us. And so when you're talking to your hostesses, when you're talking to your potential recruits, having your perspective come from a place of positivity, certainty, enthusiasm, and of course authenticity, just being yourself. You don't have to be like anybody else. What happens is that people are drawn to you. My friends, take a look. Positivity, hopefully, it's permeating you and your business. And it's never not the right time to chat about that very important conversation. Okay, next one. Connect with your party attendees via social media. Now, of course, depending on you who attends the party, your hostess, you decide when this is right and when it may not be effective. And let me say a little bit more about this. So if you're Miss Facebook or Mr. Facebook, like me, I love Facebook, then I'm going to reach out to everybody at my party, just like when people come to my events, I reach out to them via social media. Now, you decide if you want to ask them to be your friend. If you're like me, I always already have 5,000 friends, so I can't ask them to be my friend. So I can invite them to a group that I'm running, or I can invite them to my business page. You could invite them to be your friend. You could invite them to stay connected to you in a certain group that you might run or belong to. So how are you going to stay connected? And then maybe some of you don't do Facebook, you do LinkedIn. Well, then you would do the same thing over there. Ask them to connect with you. Now, maybe you're going to follow these people on Twitter if they have Twitter accounts. Okay, you can ask them to follow you. You can put that in your follow-up email that's going to go out, because what keeps people coming back is engagement. So engagement means that they read our emails, they get a call, they get a postcard, they see us online, and they can't see you online if they're not connected to you. So that's why it's really important to pick a platform. Now, some of you might be into Google Plus, that's fine too, or Periscope. There's new ones every day, new social platforms. You decide where you're going to spend your social media time, because you can't be on every platform. Which one works best for you and for your business? I think Facebook is the best place, but of course you have to decide that for yourself. The point I want you to get here is that social media is another way for us to engage with our party attendees. And so you reach out to them via social media so that if they're there and they spend any time there, they can see what's up with you, whether or not they're, sending you a personal message. And let me say this. People say to me all the time, I'm sure they say to you, oh, I saw your post, I saw this happening. And all of that builds influence for you. And that's, of course, part of what we want, to build influence, because then they'll take our phone calls when we call them, they'll come to our events when we invite them, and that's what we want, because that results in more sales, booking, and overall ease in our business. Next one. Of course, you're going to follow up with anyone that said, get back to me regarding a booking. Now, we talked about this a little bit earlier. Here's what I want to say here. Every day in your business, okay, super tip alert. Every day in your business, the first thing you do are revenue producing activities. If you will embrace that as a guiding principle for your business, you will find that your revenue will grow. When you have all these activities in your business and you're not prioritizing them, meaning following up on the revenue producing or doing the revenue producing activities first, then you're going to find time to get to them later. Well, what will happen is days will go by and you will not get any new revenue, because you've been doing administrative things, you've been doing the fun creative things, and you haven't been doing the revenue producing things. Every morning when I wake up in my business, and I've already planned the night before for tomorrow or the afternoon before, that's what I do, that we've talked about that in another WOW session. The first thing I do are revenue producing activities. So following up with bookings, and of course the next one, which is following up with potential team members. These are the first things you do when you are having your business time, of course the day after a party, or any day and time you're working your business. First thing you're doing are revenue producing activities. Okay, that is awesome if you are embracing that, because when you do that, my friend, you will find that you will be growing your revenue. And of course, that is what I want for you, because this session that we're doing right now is all about the very important topic of having your very best quarter ever. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. Now, you want to note on your hostess prospect list for next month or any other future month, any potential bookings. Now, we've discussed this, I believe, in another WOW call. I know I talked about this when I had the privilege of being live and in person with some of you a couple months back. Every month, you start the month with your top 30 list of hostess prospects and your top 30 list of new people for your team every single month. Now, if you're not doing that, I want you to start right away. And your job every month is to get those people off that list because they have joined your team or they have booked a party. And when you're focusing on booking parties, you hear a lot of times things like, well, I can't do it this month, but follow up with me next month. I can't do it this month or next month. My daughter's getting married. Follow up with me in 3 months. Follow up with me in 4 months. Follow up with me in 6 months. Now, you have to then note and put in that month when you're going to get back to them. Super tip alert, though. Here's another thing. Super tip alert. You've got to have engagement with them during that time. So if somebody said to you, follow up with me in 6 months, you don't have no communication or no contact or no reach out for 6 months and then call them and expect them to book. What you do is you put them on your list, which we'll get to shortly. You put them on your email list. You send them a note on Facebook. You like or comment on what they're doing. You want to have engagement because remember that builds influence. And then when you call them month 5 to book for month 6 or 7, they are thrilled and happy to take your call because they have been waiting for it because you've done a good job of engagement. All right, now I just touched on this. After every party, SOP, standard operating procedure, is to send out your post-party email. And you're sending this to the attendees of the attendees of the party. Now, if they said they didn't want to go on your list, my recommendation is you still send them the post-party email, but you tell them this is a one-time post-party email. You have not gone on my list, but do email me if you want to hear about specials, etc. Okay? So when I do something and I speak somewhere and they give me the list, I don't put those people on my list. I say, hey, this is a one-time emailing. And then email me or click here to get on my list because we do want to get people's permission to email them. So your SOP, standard operating procedure, is you're going to send out an email after your parties. You're going to say thanks to everybody for coming. You're going to mention any featured products if you want. I encourage you to send a link to the Athena's Cup or the Athena's Cup blog because you want to show them what's happening with philanthropy through your company. You may have a few super tips to share, remind them of bookings, share 3 dates. This is a really important piece. And I'm telling you, when you do this, you will get some Insta bookings. You will get some Insta product sales, but you have to do it the next day or the day after. You can't wait 2 weeks because all the positive energy of the party has waned. Really, really important that it's happening right after. And of course, if you want to call people that purchased and thank them for purchasing, telling them it was great to meet you, call me with any questions, etc., answering something that they had a question about, absolutely you want to do that within 48 hours of your party. Again, we're talking about your post-party success checklist. Now, also, you probably, and if not, I want you to have a list just for your hostesses because during the year, you may want to make calls or communications just to your hostesses. And I'm hoping that you're doing some kind of hostess appreciation, something at at Valentine's time, at Christmas time, beginning of the year, something, summer, to thank your hostesses, appreciate your hostesses, and of course get more sales and bookings. That's why you want to make sure she's on your special list just for hostesses. Now, here's something that you may or may not do that I think is really important and I want to encourage you to do. Remember, we said earlier in this WOW call that you want to always be upgrading. What I do is after an event, in your case after a party, I write down what worked and I write down what could be better. What upgrades can I make? And by doing so, you're continuing to move towards mastery and get better and better. For example, and here's the other thing, by the way, you want to do this for each hostess because there may be specific things about her house, about her community, about her preferences that you want to make sure you remember if she's booking again next year. You maybe want to say, hey, I need to remind Sheila that she needs to put the dogs in the bedroom, or whatever it is. I need to remind Mary not to have the big, huge buffet. You know, you might say, hey, the party was great, but she did so much great food that people had too much attention on the food. Okay, so you want to note that. So next time you remind her, hey, you know what? Let's just have some tea and cookies, or let's just have a little, nibblies. Let's not do the big spread. Okay? Because as you know, hostesses that do the big spread, they're probably not going to rebook because they're thinking about all the stuff they have to do for the party, and we don't want that. We want the attention on the products, on the camaraderie, on the visiting, and that's just one example of what you would note in your post-party debrief. Okay? This is where we're moving towards mastery with this super tip. My friend, guess what? It's time. It's time to get busy using this post-party checklist to achieve your best quarter ever. Review the handouts. Review this audio time and time again so that you will be more and more masterful at being yourself, doing your thing, and serving your people through your Athena's business. I want you to remember you have massive value to bring. You have a lifetime supply of hostesses and customers and potential team members for you. All you have to do is to continue to be loud and proud about the massive value you bring. I want you to embrace these super tips because I want to see you enjoying your best month ever. This is Caterina Rando. I'm sending you some love. I'm sending you some support. And I cannot wait to talk to me on Facebook about your best quarter ever.
Well, thank you, Caterina. This call was full of super tips. I have 10 written down on my pad here, and I have to go back and listen again because I think I missed a few. There were so many I just couldn't even write fast enough. SOPs, standard operating procedures. So I have to share with you, I had an aha moment on this call, and I'll try not to beat myself up for not seeing it before this. But you all know how I create my meeting to-do list for every meeting. And then I counted down on Facebook, and you all cheer me on, go Jen, go Jen. Well, I always take a whole day just to create the meeting to-do list. And then as I go, I delete the items off the list till there's nothing left. I never save the original document. Duh! I mean, there's things that are very much the same that I do for every meeting. Why did I not save the list before? Why do I not have a standard operating procedure in place? All right, so I'm not going to beat myself up. Don't judge. Even I have a lot to learn. But, for this call, I got to say, I could literally feel as though Caterina was standing in front of me, pacing the floor and sending me these intense vibrations. She wants us all to succeed. You can hear it. You can feel it. Now it's time for you to do something about it. So what are you going to do? And that is what I want to hear about this week in the Aha Moment contest. So go to the Athena's Wow Facebook page, and I want you to post your first action that you are compelled to take as a result of this call. So what are you inspired to do? Post it there in the thread. I'm going to pick a random winner from the thread, and they will earn a $100 Athena shopping spree. So visit the WOW Facebook page tonight by midnight, and you'll find the post about this call. Share what inspired action you're going to take right away, and you'll be entered to win a $100 shopping spree. Okay, time to give you the final code word and instructions to submit it. Be sure to email your code words to wow@athenashn.com. That's WOW at ATHENASHN.com. wow@athenashn.com. In the subject line, you're going to put WOW call number 4. In the body of your email, you're going to include your goddess, Adonis number, your full name, and the code words. The code words is valid 48 hours from the call time and date stamp of the email that was contained in the call link. God, I can't talk tonight, everybody. By submitting this information, you're going to receive credit for calling in. That's what lets us know that you were here, and that's how you get your spoils of war. So now, here's the code word that you've been waiting for. It's confidence. 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 Write that word down. Confidence. Well, warriors, you have 6 weeks before Christmas comes calling. Are you going to fill your calendar and work your business in the time you have left? What you do in December will determine what happens to you in January. And what you do in January is the lead up to your incredibly profitable February. So pick up the phone, follow up, use what you've learned, expect success. And when it doesn't come right away, keep moving forward with the tenacity of Brett Palmer and Yolanda Miller. If they didn't quit when the chips were down, you shouldn't either. And I'd like to remind you again that Madeline Cerrone, a new goddess, sold $16,000 last December. It takes desire and drive to do it in December. It's possible for you to have your best December ever and leave those credit cards tucked in your wallet when you're out doing your Christmas shopping. Our final WOW call is Wednesday, December 9th. And if you aren't partying, it's the second best thing you can do for your business. So show up and learn something new. You'll be better for it. So thanks again for taking time to listen and learn. It's November, the month of gratitude. Those of you that know me well. You know that I am grateful all year long and love to extend my thanks to you. But let me do it now. I want you to know that I'm grateful for you. So I can't wait to read your inspired actions and see you in our Facebook community. Good night, everyone, and God is blessed.